raising awareness through every track. All-Star PD Sportscast on the rise, shouting loud, reaching the skies. Can't stop, won't stop, our game is strong, fighting Parkinson's all day long. Tim's charm shines.
Welcome everyone back to another episode of one of my favorite shows, although I'm biased, is the All-Star PD Sportscast. With my co-host Tim Lockhart, my PD Party on Instagram and all social media. I'm Sharon's son George, Dr. George Ackerman from Together for Sharon. This is a show where we discuss the world of sports and slowing the progression of Parkinson. But just to jump right in it, we have a really, I know Tim's also honored, but we're honored to have not only a living legend, a friend, but someone I consider family in this fight for a cure. And I just want to welcome you back, John, to the show. And I know how busy you are, especially this time. Hopefully we could talk about everything, but I'm excited to say Orlando's doing well, and they're still making their way through the NBA playoffs. So we'll be cheering them on. I got my, even though it's for Shaq, I'm representing today. Welcome, John.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me. And sorry I don't have any gear on.
That's okay. Next time. I'm gonna again, I just honored to be back with Tim and of course you, John. John did my show, but we spent a lot of like I call it intimate time because it was for a really important purpose. But in Washington, D.C., representing the state of Florida and everybody in the community advocating for more funding towards the cure, and especially a lot of the veterans and also for awareness. But thankfully, Tim also joined us the year before. Hopefully we'll get everyone together in this next year. You never know. But I want to send the show to Tim, but it's really an honor to have you again, John, here, and everybody listening too. Welcome.
Thanks.
Absolutely. I'm so honored to have you here, John. Listen, it's not every day you get NBA basketball royalty that you can share stories with and talk about Parkinson's and NBA. I mean, it's such an unbelievable honor. I can't wait to kind of dive in. I know your time is limited, sir.
Well, it's, in a way, basketball, as you know, is basketball, and the rules don't change. The same mistakes are made by men in their 30s as they made them when they were in their teens. And I started in the 4th grade with an organized Catholic grade school team.
Wow.
And we were fortunate enough that we had I'm getting off topic a little bit, but we had a crop of all related youngsters that grew to be 6'2" in the 9th grade. And we won the BYO Pennsylvania State Championship. And then we won it my 8th grade year, we won it again. And then I had the good fortune of being on a pretty good Kutztown team, Pennsylvania. And we were ranked 4th in the nation for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
But they struggled with the books a little bit.
Didn't we all?
They would unroll, or whatever the word is.
I think you turned out okay.
Then we re-enlist. But then the first year in the bigs, we won the world championship in Philadelphia. I said, "This is easy. Let's just get Moses Malone and on your way."
Where do I go from here?
To answer that, I would get the chance as the first employee of the Orlando Magic to be involved in every facet of the colors of the uniform, where we're going to practice, who the coach is going to be. I was in charge of that. I picked Nick Anderson. The team in front of us that came in was Minnesota, and we were 12. They were 11. They took Pooh Richardson. We took Nick Anderson.
You did it. You did okay.
Yeah.
Well, we want to start the show off by telling us a little bit about, how Parkinson's has affected you today, and then we'll go back a little in the history too.
Well, first of all, I'm having a great morning, knowing that I was going to speak to you.
Thanks.
And,
Me too.
He's talking about me, George.
Hey.
it's like the Grinch says, when I say we, I mean you.
Love it.
My son's in from Nashville. Jack played at the local high school here.
Nice.
He grew to be 6'6.5".
Mm-hmm.
And he works for CAA now, the largest representation firm in the United States, maybe the world. Because they have an office in China, New York, LA, and one in Nashville, and that's where Jack's located.
Here's the one thing that I wanted to ask, if you don't mind, John. Listen, obviously, I have Parkinson's, and I know that comes with struggles every day. If you could tell us, I mean, listen, you of all your awards that you won, the hardest thing that you probably had to do is you had to rebuild the team after losing Shaquille O'Neal. So you are
Yeah.
definitely not adverse to great challenges. So tell us about your diagnosis and how you began to fight from there.
We had a little beach cottage that we rented out for a while, and I was in it before we sold it. And I was reading, of all things, a Michael J. Fox People magazine article. And I looked back, I've done some homework. I looked back on when that magazine came out, the date on it, and how close it was to my ring finger starting to quiver. And that's how it started. And I've been fortunate. I have enough good days, at least I think I do, more obvious than I think I realize. But I was with the Knicks, and great Hall of Famer Donnie Walsh, who
Yeah.
the Indiana Pacer championship teams. Was a good friend of Larry Bird's and Kevin Pritchard's. I went in, I said, Donnie, can I tell the staff I have Parkinson's? And everybody's like, oh my God, sorry. Don't get too close, I'll catch it. No, it doesn't work that way. And he said, I said, can I tell the staff? He goes, do whatever you want. So we called a full basketball ops staff meeting in the players' film room. And there was only about 22 people there. And after I got done telling them, they said, what can I do for you? And I said, treat me like you always do.
That's right.
And that was probably the end of that. And Donnie, I heard him on the phone later on. I overheard him because I was in the office next to his. He said, the guy wanted to tell people he had Parkinson's. So I said, go ahead. And I think he was either proud of giving me permission
Right.
or
I appreciate you sharing that story, because even with Mr. Magic Johnson, when he had, AIDS and it was just so new, people thought they could catch it, which wasn't how it was
Right.
in reality. So I think
I remember.
when you spoke up and also in a way told everyone, I think it's really heroic. And
Yeah.
again, not just for being with us today or my friend, but I'm grateful for all the advocacy you still do and continue to, because we need voices like yourself, out
Sure.
there fighting. What
Well,
was what was some of I know you mentioned, which I love to hear, even though we want to hear all the NBA stuff, a lot about your basketball playing, but in your career, even today, how has exercise helped slow the progression for yourself?
how did I slow the progression for myself?
Yeah, through sports and I know you're still dunking, but I don't want you dunking much.
That, that ship has sailed. But, you know, I just got stuffed in my ear down here in Central Florida. Keep moving, keep moving. And I promised myself as a early young adult that I was going to keep playing ball as long as I could. And then I made the mistake and ran the Disney Marathon. And if you saw me, he dribbled between my legs easy enough because I'm bow-legged. I'm slightly pigeon-toed, and I cracked my sesamoid bone in my foot.
Oh my God.
Oh,
But worse than that, I lost my ability to not hurt myself moving
Oh.
laterally, and I couldn't guard. And that was my thing at Kutztown. I was player of the year for the
wow.
university and went in the Hall of Fame a few years later. I scored 8 points a game, had 5 assists, 5 steals, and I got the award
Wow.
just on heart and hustle.
That sticks out.
I was under the basket, and my man slipped away from me into the corner, and there was a double screen on the baseline. And I said, I'm going to go for it. And I went and I jumped in the air, put both of my hands on both their shoulders, and jumped over the double screen to my man. And the coach stopped the practice and said, "Now get out of here. I want 12 Johnny Gabes." And the players didn't take it they didn't think it was very funny.
Oh man. So John, let me ask you. Obviously, executive of the year in 2000. I mean, Orlando Magic Hall of Fame. You know what it's like to build a winning team. What does your team of caregivers and family look like? Tell us What does your family look like? How important are they in this journey with you?
They take crazy care of me. I mean, beyond belief. And I'll steal a line or two from Fox. But as far as medicine goes, I would like to see that funded as well. And I
Yeah,
told this to George because it allowed me to keep working. I'm going into my
yeah.
18th year with Parkinson's. And so that helps. And then I found the right formula of medicine to get me through a 4 p.m. to almost midnight day.
Wow.
And it's a little rough at night. So I take a mix of pills, all prescribed except for the Advil. And I'm able to move around. And sometimes I'm off. But I sit with the president of basketball and two GMs. One of them is Anthony Parker,
Yeah.
who played in the league and played for Sixers, in fact. And I used him in the 53 trades in 15 months that we did. And we changed the rule of aggregation because that's taking 3 players and trading them for George. And
Right.
George and putting him with Tim,
Right.
waiting for another player. The league made the rule you can only aggregate a person once. And that's how we made all those transactions.
I mean, you're talking about guys like Tracy McGrady. I mean, you had some high level guys there.
Tim Duncan said yes.
Yeah.
He originally said yes. He would join Grant and T.
Yeah.
And then he went home. David Robinson left his home in Hawaii and flew back to Texas and talked him out of it.
I have an interesting question, but while you're still at work watching the games, because I know they get frustrating and stressful, do you ever find that actually affects, your diagnosis? Does it make you, because I know I get nauseous watching some of the Lakers and I
Oh,
don't,
come on. He's
I'm
saying that
not
because I'm a Laker
diagnosed.
fan, John.
No, well, I love LeBron, but he's, I don't know how much longer, but, I'm just curious, does that, affect also, your work?
Yeah,
Because I know that could be,
yeah.
stressful.
Uh, and that's one reason why I don't get DBS, deep brain stimulation, is because I'm not really hung up on my tremor in my hands, and I don't have a lot of swaying.
Right.
A buddy of mine that came with us, remember Todd?
Yep. Stuart.
He was with his wife, Michelle, and when he gets off, he really sways, and it's hard for him. He's missed a couple of meetings. I haven't really had that problem. I've had everything else that comes with it. It affects, as you know, every organ in your body. And yeah, I actually came out of the game that we won by 30
Mhm.
and against Charlotte. We had some good plays. And when I got home, I was still shaking and I was medicated. And
Wow.
I said to my wife, I said, Dorothy, this is like aftershock.
It sticks with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, John, in some of the, I was going through some of your interviews, you have one of the best quotes I've ever heard regarding Parkinson's. And I think I know what you mean, but I want you to explain to everybody else who's watching. Listen, we know that this disease affects everybody differently, and it changes moment to moment. But I saw where you said you wanted to reinvent yourself with every stage at this disease. Tell us what you mean by that.
I just mean you can't think like the game's over. We're playing tomorrow night. We're playing a back-to-back. And that's when you play one game, right? And then the schedulers sneak up on you and put another game right next to
Right.
you. You can fit all the games in the arenas. And there's no time. We don't have much time in
You got to
general.
keep going.
You got to keep going. And
Yeah.
you want to do as much as you can in a healthy state.
Right.
I actually heard somebody the other day say, whatever you do, don't work out hard when you're off. When you're on the
Off period.
Yeah. And I never heard anybody say that. I had a life coach tell me, and my wife, you should never strain to do exercises. And they're teaching now Tai Chi, is it?
Yeah.
As a better way to strengthen your body.
It's funny you say that because I'm going to be starting that next week.
Good for you.
Yeah, so we'll see where it takes me.
You're gonna wear a ninja hat for me
You
next
do
time.
anything you do to get a funny picture of me, George.
We need a show on that, actually. Remind me. But anyway, that's one topic. There's so many sports, it's amazing. We never will run out of them. But John, before we get to the next question, which is important because we got to meet, I always tell Tim, and I am honored really to hear a lot of the stories you have of history of the NBA. Can you share one story? I know we went over the LeBron one once, but maybe the first time you ever saw Shaquille, step in the room with an Orlando Magic jersey would be a cool story because I had the honor to meeting him and interviewing him in college when he was in the locker room at a Heat game. But you
How
probably have
about that?
some credible stories. Maybe you could share one of those.
Well, it would be a story that I'd have to edit a little bit because I can't use the wording that was used. But
Well, we'll do that for you, John. Don't worry about
Tim does this.
it.
one of the problems you could guess you would have when you have two relatively superstars in Shaquille and Penny on the same team. Back then, there weren't the restrictions on the cap. And actually, the NBA took restricted free agency out for 2 years. That's why we lost Shaquille,
Right.
because they took it out because there was the union and the coaches association, the NBA couldn't come to a meeting. So I said, let's just start the season anyway. And we did. And they said they threw a bone to the players, trading, bargaining, the collective bargaining agreement. How much percent do you get? Do we get 51? You get 49, et cetera, et cetera. And so they said, Gabe, go down and tell Shaquille he's got to share his money with Penny.
Yeah, good luck.
So I did. Picked me up by my elbows.
Sure.
So my feet are dangling.
Oh my God.
He said, it's about me and always will be about me. He said, look at my sneakers. And on his sneaker, it says Twism, which means what? Now is the first word. The world is mine.
That's right.
Nice.
And
Well, listen, if you didn't do such an amazing job rebuilding the team after he left, I wouldn't feel bad saying, listen, as a Laker fan, thank you.
then I had one experience with Penny that's worth talking about. He actually stole Penny from the two agents that had represented him from day one.
Mhm.
And I called them to apologize, to tell them how sorry I was. And they said, sorry for what? I said, Penny Hardaway just got stolen from you guys, the agents. And the new agent came in. And he said, we worked it out. He said, we have a deal. He shook my hand and he left the office. He comes back to sign. I said, come back tomorrow. We'll sign everything else. We have Waterman pens that we use, 4 different Waterman pens. I've got almost every pen from every player we've ever signed.
Wow.
And he came back in and he said, did you see the newspaper, John? I said, what are you talking about, Leroy? He said, so-and-so got X amount of dollars for so many years. I'm not standing behind the deal we had. He did it to me again. He did it to me a 4th time.
Don't turn around.
He was
Jeez.
like the stock market. He just kept raising the bar. And in fact, I said to him, sit down for a minute. Just give me a minute. I'll be right back with you. And I swung around in my chair, picked up my phone. I said, Monica, give me David Falk. And he knew who David Falk was. He was representing Michael Jordan then.
Yeah.
And I said, David, do you still have Scott Williams? I said, is he healthy? Yeah, we have 6 million cap room, but we may not have it in a few minutes. So you need to let me know. I said, hold on, David. I said, Lapoy, if you don't sign that contract in the next 5 seconds,
Yep.
I'm giving your money away. Then you got to go to Penny and explain to him why.
Why? Exactly.
Signed right then and there.
Wow. Look at
Put the
you.
phone down.
That's a negotiator right there. I love
Monica
it.
never called David Falk.
Nice.
Well, listen, I'm going to give you a quick question, and bear in mind, I'm a Laker guy. I'm a Kobe guy, admittedly. Give me the ranks: MJ, Kobe, LeBron. Rank them 1 to 3.
Kobe, LeBron, and who?
And Michael Jordan.
For my own personal reasons, I'd go Jordan. I go Jordan, LeBron, Kobe.
Oh, John, I wanted to like you so bad.
I saw.
All
I went to see Kobe play in Philly, where his school was, his high school.
Do you have a Kobe story you can give us?
Oh, well, it's a quick one.
Yeah.
The little guy in front of us with his friends from school were at the backpack going, and it was an inner city school. And he heard me talking with USC coach Eric Musselman.
Yeah.
Dad coached in Minnesota, and Eric coached 2, 3 other NBA teams. And Eric said to me, "Where is he? He's not warming up. Kobe's not warming up." And the little guy leaned back and said, "Ain't playing." I said, "What?" He goes, "Ain't playing." I said, "What is he?" He's sick. And we didn't get to see him play. But I saw him that about a month later in the Beach Ball Classic. That was run. You ever hear of the coach Mike D'Antoni?
Oh yeah, of course. Houston Rockets, LA Lakers,
Yeah.
Knicks.
New York Knicks.
Yeah.
What a great guy. His
Yeah.
brother ran this Beach Ball Classic, which brought the best, like 50 high schools to Central Florida. And
Wow.
they played each other. And I went the last year you were allowed to, because they made it illegal. And Kobe played.
Oh
And
wow.
T-Mac played.
That's so
They
great.
didn't play against each other, but they both, you can imagine how good they were. They
Well, I
both,
feel like they had a good mutual respect. They were good friends, I thought. They had a
They
good
did.
respect for one another.
but they didn't mind bringing the ball up themselves and creating their own shot.
Oh, of course not.
Some of the guys wouldn't even run back on. Oh,
Why would you?
they know the shot's going up.
Wow.
I want to bring you back for a moment in time, which was just a few months ago, and that's when we got the honor to meet in Washington. I was wondering, what are your thoughts on your time there, especially with me? I'm kidding. And then also, uh, what came out of it, and what is your hope for the future for our policy forum?
Well, the one thing I said to Dorothy was, and I felt this way when we first met at breakfast. You remember that, right, George?
Yes, sir.
And I said, it feels like I should know everybody in here, but I don't know anybody in here. And you were kind enough to come over and talk to me. And then I had at least one person. I didn't realize he was such a specialist in the game of hoops.
Mhm.
But that added to the conversation. Uh, I was mad at myself 4 days after I got home, because I had a chance to read my story or talk to him about my story. And I wasn't the greatest student when I was in high school and grade school. The fourth grade were the best 2 years of my life. But I struggled with hearing what the homework was. And that was to get up there and say, I'm a 70-year-old man. I've been working 45 years in the league, and I want to keep working. So I
Yeah.
want to see, my ask is to keep funding science to find a cure while we look for a cure, or to at least make me feel whole
Yes.
so that I can continue to work. And I didn't get to, I ended up jumbling it. A guy came over and held a paper. I was shaking like a leaf. And I said to myself, that's what you were supposed to do. That's the face of Parkinson's.
Yeah. That's right.
And,
Let
and
him
somebody
see
that
your
can be,
offline. Let him see your struggles, because that's what's going to move the needle.
yeah, I'm not sure I'm the most polished person in the world, but uh, I, I sure been around some great people with the accolades that I've been with. I negotiated against Michael Jordan. I negotiated against Kevin McHale. I negotiated against uh, uh, Bird, McHale, and 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 uh, and I won
Yeah.
the negotiations. Uh, but that doesn't mean Parkinson says, "Oh, he's good."
Right. It
Well,
doesn't discriminate.
it doesn't discriminate.
But you know what I'm going to tell you, John? For all the great things that you've done, one of the things that really stuck with me, because I know I've been through it and it worked for me. You always say things got a little easier once you got past the why me. And you're extremely big on acceptance and gratitude. John, once I got that in my life got a lot easier. It really did. The struggles and the physical traits are still there, but mentally, it helped me fight forward. What does that look like to you? Tell me what gratitude and acceptance of Parkinson's looks like to you.
It's pretty simple, and I learned it from reading. Uh, that you're I don't think your mind can feel both gratitude and fear
Right.
or anger at the same time.
Correct.
And I have a buddy of mine who's very sick. I may have to go up there in a week for a variety of reasons, up to Jersey. He was just awarded the most heroic individual in South Jersey because he continues to blow the whistle. But it's hard for him because he's trach and has to breathe through his collar. And he says, I've had a wonderful life. And he goes, I am so grateful I can't be sad or scared.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Well, if you find your way to Jersey, sir, tell me when. I'll come shake your hand.
He was South Jersey's Converse Salesman of the Year.
Wow.
So from like the Walt Whitman Bridge. What's the closest bridge to you?
Probably the one that goes over. I don't know what they call it. We go over the Parkway there.
Yeah,
Exit 127 around there.
yeah. I think I stayed at a Marriott near there for 7 years.
Oh,
All from
probably felt like 20.
from June 1st to the end of August, because I said to my wife, which wasn't a good excuse, I said, I'm not in the office. I'm a remote, high-paid personnel guy. So I worked every day of the week for 3 months. The only time I took off was when the head doctor of the Knicks said, you're crawling to your car. I saw you last night
Yeah.
because I couldn't walk. And they put me up at HSS, which is the Hospital for Special Surgery, which is best hospital, one of the best hospitals in the world. My doctor operated on Pope, 2 presidents, and Mother Teresa,
Not a bad doctor to know.
and down John Gabriel.
Uh,
I want to go back for a minute, John, to the opportunity that you said you feel you missed out. The good news is, as always, hopefully next March, and I hope that we'll be back, all 3 of us, and get a picture together. And
I'd love it.
you'll be able to say what you wanted to, because it's never too late. And I feel that, again, you're a hero to us and to so many
Yes.
still out there fighting, not just kind of giving up or sitting back, and just having you with us again. For me, it's always an honor and special place in my heart. Before we wrap up and I send the show back to Tim, I was wondering what's next for you. I know that you're out. You actually did a walk recently for I think it's the Central Orlando Parkinson's group, which I love. They've been on my show, but I know you're going to be busy with the playoffs. But what's the future look like for awareness and for the whole Gabriel family?
Well, we're hoping that we don't have many days off. That means we're playing still.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're not sure which team's going to show up, the one that won by 30 or the one that lost to the Celtics G League team.
Stay positive.
But I will. But I'm gonna, and I'd like you two guys to think about this a little bit too. Michael Oken is the doctor that they chose to be on the board. What
Council.
read that, George? Was it the Senate or Congress?
That's the National Council, the one for the national plan that selected 15, I think, members of the board, and then 15 federal. So he was the doctor they selected.
I'm
Dr.
good
Oken?
Yeah. I'm good friends with him. And I get them Laker tickets too when they come into town.
Nice.
Playing them. But I want to find out, I'm going to do a little exploring of how I can make an impact through the doors that they can open in the government. And I got a job where the lowest paid player makes $1 million. And the highest paid players make 23 million a year, $1 million a month.
Well, you can put us on your payroll. We don't need $1 million.
I'll take the withholding.
We need a sponsor for the show. That would be we'll take the Orlando man. That would change this show.
Well, I'm good friends with all the referees in the NBA. They're good friends of mine, and most of them live in Jersey and Philly. And I've talked to them already I'm going to talk to the union leaders, and the coaches don't do too bad either.
Nice.
Well, John, I'm in Jersey, so anything you ever need, please, by all means, hit me up, and I'll be more than happy to assist. I mean, you're a godsend for being on the show, and we can't thank you enough.
Well, it's my pleasure. And George, if you would mind forwarding me any information I don't have from you,
Sure.
and all of Tim's information,
Yes,
I'd
sir.
appreciate it.
Well, listen, what we like to do here, John, we always like to end the show or start wrapping up the show with a famous quote that has a Parkinson's connotation to it. So I know I'm a homer. I'm going to use Kobe because I'm a Laker guy. But Kobe said two things. He said, first, I don't want to be Michael Jordan. I want to be the best Kobe Bryant I could be. But also, he said, the Mamba mentality is a relentless pursuit of self-improvement, focusing on being better tomorrow than you were today. That's kind of what you're saying, sir. Just listen, be the best. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I want to make the most of today. I want to be the best John and Tim and George that I could be. Make the most of every day, and I feel like that's what it is. Listen, Parkinson's is going to make us look a little different, but it's just a new version of you. Make the best of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, it's like the Boy Scouts say when they build a fire to make sure it's out, let's leave the place better than when we found it.
That's right. I love that.
I try to do that with people's lives, and
You are,
sometimes
sir.
people say that's vanity. I said, no, I said, I just talked to these three young kids parking cars about Shaquille O'Neal stories, and then they'll never be the same from
That's right.
that discussion.
You're doing that every day, sir, and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks
Thanks,
for having me
Tim.
on.
Yeah, it's always an honor. I always joke and say we need 12-hour episodes because all the stories, and I got lucky to hear the Phil Jackson story, the LeBron story, and of course many others. But really an honor to be with you today. I know you're busy because we have to get back to the
Go
playoffs.
Magic.
And,
Go
yeah,
Magic.
we're going to be
Go
supporting
Lakers.
Orlando
Yeah.
South. So I don't
We
think.
won't see them till the finals.
Yeah.
Listen, that means we're both happy if that happens, right?
Yeah.
Well, again, you probably already know, John. I know Tim knows that basketball is my life. Like literally I just played today with a bunch of guys. It's not the same on the NBA court, but still, even with 4 back surgeries, I'm either
Oh
mental or
boy.
still trying to do something and pretend, brings you young. And also for caregivers, I remember, even though unfortunately my mother struggled, I would steal at least an hour every Sunday with my friends to kind of forget life. And I remember, unfortunately, when it got more progression for my mother, and now I have to put 12 different things like ankle braces. It takes me an hour to get ready.
Look like
But
Lee Majors, the Bionic
yeah,
Man.
I remember I put it all on. Unfortunately, I had to take it all off because I wanted to be with my mother, and we never knew how long we'd have. But even today, basketball definitely mental health, huge. It
Yes,
helps
sir.
me. I tell my wife I didn't mean it, but some days I feel like I won't survive if I didn't have that time to play. But I
No.
said something worse, which I shouldn't have. But I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm dying if I can't play, and get angry when you get hurt, and I've broken everything. So anyway, I wanted to thank you again for the stories that, we lived through you too. Also,
Yes.
thank you for your courage and standing up. Thank you for letting me be a family to you, and just hope for many more times to come. Someday I'll have to do what you said and jump on the train and come visit you. And but I'm really coming to you, not for the the game, but again, it's just an honor to have you and to be back with Tim always is a
Yes.
pleasure. Tim keeps me going too on some of my tougher days when, we do this sometimes 24/7. And when you come out of, I got a letter the other day from Rick Scott, our senator, thanking us for coming, but I think it might have been the same one he sent to everybody. So
How,
it's like,
how did I got it?
yeah, I think you probably have one too. But it's like, you come out of that, you hope for things, and sometimes you don't get the results you want. But then I turn to Tim and you and realize that no matter what, we're still in this together and we still have work to be done. So we wanted to thank you, Tim. Please, you can find Tim at My
Thank you.
PD Party at Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. You have to follow him. You have to like his work and support him. I have exciting news. We hope that this Saturday, Tim might be live with me at the Unity Walk in Central Park, and Michael J. Fox will have to do a quick live video. And I hope our family's finally, at least part of them, get to meet because my sons won't be attending, but my wife and daughter will. So I hope.
We'll FaceTime John. He'll be sitting courtside at an Orlando Magic playoff game.
Yeah, he did it already.
I'll be in the box so I can do
Nice.
it.
He did it once with me. It was pretty cool. But
You guys have a great show, and
Thank
thank
you.
you.
thanks
Thank you,
for all
sir.
your support.
Thank
Thank
you.
I feel better right now.
Listen, I'm blessed to have you on my team because I know you know how to build winners. So I feel a lot happier having talked to you.
All right, T.
Well, I want to thank everyone too again. Thank you all. Thank you, John. Thanks, Orlando Magic.
Yes.
Feel free, Orlando, to share the show too. That would be cool. We want to see this on the Jumbotron one day. But this has been another episode of All Star PD Sportscast, where we discuss the world of sports on the progression of Parkinson, but really more importantly, even today, the fight against this disease doesn't end now. Even after the lights, camera, and paparazzi leave the show, we have to continue this. And with individuals like John advocating and his family, we're grateful really forever. And we send our love to the whole family and to everybody listening. We'll be back soon because, as you know, we still have work to be done until there's a cure at everybody's doorsteps around the world. You can be sure Tim and I will be talking about sports and also finding ways to slow the progression to Parkinson's. We love you all, and I have a feeling Tai Chi will be coming soon. Thanks, everyone. I
Thank
love
you.
you all.
You,
Thank you,
brother.
guys.